The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Happy Friday and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we research and really, read and hear and anything that's pertaining to your health, your diet, your fitness level, your general health, I think is what we're trying to do here.
That's right. We're having fun while we're doing it.
And, we analyze it and deconstruct it so you don't have to out there. So we are taking your phone calls at 877-927-6648. I'm Nico Haan. This is Paige Clarke. And today it's a gorgeous day in downtown Clearwater. In fact, it's like 67 degrees. It's
clear and sunny, and we hope that you're all enjoying your holiday season and taking some time to take care of yourself during these stressful holidays. Enjoy the intensity, but also take a little time, take a deep breath, de-stress. Keep your immune system up.
I like that. Please subscribe to our Health Signals newsletters, folks, and also order our new Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. And you can do this all on the TFNN website at tfnn.com.
And those of you that are tigers and tigresses, if you have tiger dollars, you can use these to start fortifying your nutrition with what I believe is one of the greatest, one-shot wonders. I hate using that word, but in a way that's kind of what we did. We created a whole food supplement, but it's not just about what's in it, it's about what's not in it. And it's also about the catalyst, or nature's miracle molecule of fulvic and humic, that helps drive the nutrition in, taking us back to the molecules that were in the soil for ancestral man or primal man. So we're really taking us back to a state, a healthier blueprint.
I agree. I found this interesting article that crossed my path. It's the British Dietary Association, and it was taking a stand against the paleo diet. I'll just read part of this.
And before you read it, let me just make, because this is interesting, something just came across my desk. One of my colleagues, who we have a very similar philosophy, he's adopted a new thing. He actually trademarked or service marked the name. He called it the 180-degree plan. He says basically do a 180-degree turn from what mainstream news tells you, and you'll be on the right track. That's what I tell people. I had a little girl come up to me at Whole Foods yesterday, and she's pregnant, and she had a smoothie, and the Whole Foods had put a sticker on it that said, "Warning, ingredients in the smoothie are not pasteurized and may not be suitable." Well, I said, you want to do 180. Basically, pasteurization is a dead food,
Yeah, so, that's a legal thing they have to do.
I understand. I understand, but...
Okay, so this guy's writing, I'm British, and my father routinely sends me articles from the British media. Last week, he sent me a short piece from the Daily Mail newspaper that reported the British Dietetic, I guess it is, Association revealed its annual list of top 5 celebrity diets to avoid in 2015. A tagline contained in the graphics was, "Being famous does not make someone an expert on a diet." Well, I don't know what famous person actually talked about the paleo diet. But anyway, they ranked the paleo diet second on its list, being surpassed only by the urine therapy diet. Haven't tried that one. Anyway, they called it a kind of fad diet, and they said at the end, and the funny thing about this was, Paige, because in the article they actually listed the benefits of the paleo diet or primal diet, and they were correct in what they said. And now what they actually printed was Jurassic Fad. A diet with fewer processed foods, less sugar and salt is actually a good idea, but unless for medical reasons, there is absolutely no need to cut any food group out of your diet. Of course, what we're doing is for medical reasons. My health. Your health, everybody's health.
And that's what we're about, self-empowerment, guys. And just take the word diet off of any strategy. We like to call it living primal. It's a lifestyle. It's but when they use the word diet, it allows someone to pigeonhole, to trademark it, or create a marketing thing. Just look at what makes sense. Try it for yourself.
Yeah, that goes on by saying, in fact, by cutting out dairy completely from your diet without very careful consideration, you could be in danger of compromising your bone health because of lack of calcium. Of course, in the primal type diet that we proposed, we don't really cut out dairy. We make the distinction that we're going to have dairy. The proper dairy, the way our ancestors did it. And it may not be paleo, but it is primal. And there's the distinction. I really like the word ancestral, because
primal
we're looking at what worked for us.
Yeah, it seems.
And there's a whole group in the world that used dairy for many, many years successfully. And if you're a part of that group, which I am, I really don't drink milk, but I use butter like a maniac.
Well, this person is, that did the review, the BDA verdict, saying that you could have a danger of compromising your bone health because of a lack of calcium. We know quite completely that its bone health is dependent on a lot of other synergistic nutrition. That's why I love the research of Dr. Marshall and Premier Research. We call it cell resonant technology, because we know that there are multiple cofactors and synergists that are involved in good bone health. You and I know vitamin K2, which is available in raw dairy from grass-fed cows, that's really the most important thing, so that the calcium stays in the bones and not out of the arteries.
Vitamin D from the sun.
And vitamin D from the sun, or,
all these things play a part. There's nothing that one single thing works. That's not the way nature has processed this whole thing. Very interesting article. One of the things it does, however, of even greater concern is that an organization that claims to use the most up-to-date scientific research from to form their positions appears completely unaware there are now 15 human experimental studies on the paleo diet that demonstrate the benefit to adopting this kind, and they have all 15 listed here. They also include clinical trials to date that are the paleo diet outperforms the food plate, which of course is the new thing that our government has adopted instead of the pyramid.
Well, we have to understand, folks, we got to follow the money, and many of these organizations and these governments, remember, those positions that they hold in their government is often a training ground for their next job, which is going to be how they retire by working for a drug company or a food company. So they realize that there's a tremendous amount of income made on these food groups that we now know are inflammatory.
The dead foods, I call them.
Well, the dead foods, the processed foods. I mean, I need people to really understand there is no such thing as a healthy whole grain. I'm sorry, people want to say it. Now, occasionally, that is an oxymoron. They really aren't. Now, can we have them on a rare occasion? Some of us can.
Yeah, a lot of us.
Some of us can't.
Right. And I think all of us really can't have it on a consistent basis.
But nobody wants to say the dirty word, Nico. The dirty word is their poisons. And Tom, what's his name? I'm sorry. That's doing the gluten summit. Tom O'Leary.
Tom O'Brien.
Not our Tom O'Brien.
No, the other Tom
O'Brien. Oh, yeah, Tom O'Brien. That's right. That's why I was drawing a blank. Yeah, they just did the gluten summit. He just comes right out and says they're a poisonous drug.
And in fact, what he says is that by removing these from the diet, your diet will improve no matter what.
Yeah, there are many practitioners like myself that really because when people come to see me, they're like, well, can you help me? I'm like, I don't know. What are you going to do? Because it's all about what you do.
Yeah, no doubt
and
about it.
If we simply say no GMO, no processed foods, no grains or starchy sweets processed, amazing things can happen when people will just do that.
Yeah, and here it says, simply put, humans have no whole grain dietary requirement.
Okay. But there's been a whole industry, folks, that have been built on building these into our diet. Again, I don't want to argue with people. I know a lot of people enjoy grains. I mean, quite frankly, you guys have lived with me for 2 years. I mean, I'm telling you, sometimes I think I'm okay to do them, and I start introducing them, and there goes that 10 pounds. We talked about it. I'm only, I'm barely 5 foot. Yeah. So, for me, 10 pounds looks like 20 on someone else. And, I look at the shows and I can see the difference. I'm kind of back into my fighting weight, because guess what I'm doing? I'm living what I preach. But hey, I'm human.
Okay.
Sometimes I cheat, and but I've realized that cheating for me is not an option because I'm one of those people that can't process them, particularly if my immune system is under stress because the leaky gut, the grains release.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I mean, I can vary off of it if I want to, but I won't feel the same way. I won't be able to compete the same way, and certainly on a day-to-day living, I won't feel as good. On here it says, critics of the paleo diet need to understand a very important issue. Unlike the vast majority of diets out there, no one person has formulated this diet.
It's a movement.
It's based on the concept of evolutionary dietary selective pressure. And all of the published research of this diet has attempted to examine the concept that following a diet that humans evolved over a long period of time may provide an optimal dietary template. That's what they're saying. And, you know, if you try it, I don't know anybody who has tried it and says, I don't feel better. I've said people have tried it and maybe they think it's too hard to do, or the concept of it is too hard. I know when you eliminate a certain food group that you're kind of addicted to, it's not going to be easy, and you really have to make your mind that you're going to do it. But, I mean, that really doesn't last too long. I mean,
really
for some people
doesn't.
It does.
And,
but the sicker you are, the longer it lasts. I know that.
That's absolutely true. And it takes a little while, because I have a lot of people that do the side shuffle. You know what I mean with that?
Yeah, I do.
So they come in to see me and they go, look at these gluten-free cookies, and look at these paleo-approved, you know, so they're still eating a lot of what I call imposter grains or processed, starchy, sugar foods that turn, you know, processed grains. I mean, even rice sometimes. What I'm trying to say is even foods that we could say have some healthy choices. I mean, even foods in the paleo world are primal. Eggs, we know that eggs and dairy, given if they're not the right kind, can cause problems with people. But let's go back to why they might be an inflammatory food. What do they feed those animals if you're not getting them from the right sources?
That's a big part
Corn,
of it, for sure.
grain, soy. So we're here to help, guys. We want to help you live a more primal ancestral lifestyle. I believe adopting a primal paleo lifestyle, ancestral lifestyle, whatever term floats your boat, is going to be the key to you achieving your own best health, because it really is up to you. It's not that, you know, I'm not going to fix you, Nico's not going to fix you, your medical doctor's not going to fix you, and neither is Dr. Oz. So take responsibility. Start subscribing to the newsletter. It is a wealth of information. We spend hours combing research, putting it into an electronic newsletter format with clickable links. You have access to all the archives, and we got a fresh new newsletter.
Brand new one out right now, and I tell you, it's loaded. I just went overboard. I think there's like 26 pages to it. I just started getting really involved in some of this stuff, and that's the way it works sometimes. And it's the last issue of the year, so please pick that up. It's only $10 a month. You get 2 issues each month. Even though I can't say it, you still get them. And it's on the first and third Friday of the month. Also, pick up some Primal Edge. We have some on sale right now at $89, and this is the best thing you can do for your health if you're eating a good diet.
Use some Tiger dollars and order some people that you love. Get them going. Keep them healthy in the
number
new year.
here is 877-927-6648. Please, we'll be back in a minute. Please give us a call. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Check out the new look of Tiger TV. Now you can see all hosts, charts, and computer screens live in high definition. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV. Now, crystal clear in high definition, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't seen the new look of Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Haan and global warming or global cooling. An article in IceAgeNow.info says you do understand that a 2 degrees Celsius drop takes us back to 400-year temperatures when 25% of the people on the planet starved to death. Food prices will begin rising exponentially next year. So we're a financial news station. We talk about health. We talk about wealth here. This is interesting because, Nico, you always keep us up to date on kind of what's going on. Solar.
Well, I watched the Suspicious Observer.
Right,
and I also picked up a book recently that was called The Dark Winter by James Casey.
Yeah.
And he was, I think, one of the directors of the Oceanic and Atmospheric Association. And a very interesting book that he debunks most of the global warming stuff that's going on. It says it's more like a political movement. And he had made a list.
Well, let's explain that for those people maybe who aren't up to date on that. Political movement meaning an opportunity to create a tax.
Well, that's exactly what they're doing when you're talking about the credits, the credits for polluting, in a sense, which doesn't make any sense because if you're really concerned about pollution, which I am, I don't think necessarily it's warming the planet to a level, but it certainly is not good for us.
And there's lots of scientists that are proving that that is the case, but a lot of people need to understand that that's kind of modus operandi in the background. It's an opportunity for globalists to collect a tax on the masses and, kind of laugh off.
Well, that's where it seems to be heading for sure. And all these agreements that they're doing globally have that in the documents. But now there's a lot of evidence, and I've been following this evidence, that it actually hasn't been warming up the last 18 years or so, that it's actually leveled off and now cooling, and could be cooling to a very rapid rate.
That's some pretty interesting
There are large
statistics.
amounts of scientists worldwide that are predicting a new grand solar minimum beginning around 2015, but are never quoted or referred to in the mainstream media. This is a small list of whose research do not see the light of day because of political agendas surrounding the global warming agenda. The average global atmospheric and oceanic temperatures will drop significantly between 2015 and 2016, and will continue with only temporary reversals until they stabilize to a long, cold temperature base around the 2030s and 2040s. So they're talking about the type of solar minimum, and a solar minimum is where our sun goes a little bit dormant.
Right.
And there's
They're calling it a solar hibernation.
Yes, and it's a 206-year cycle that this goes through. The last one was called the Dalton minimum. It was the 1800s, where at 1 year there was no, in the United States, there was no summer at all in Texas going down to the Mexican border. There was actually snow on the ground in July.
You think of those pictures in the 1700s of people wearing heavy coats and cold. You think of that. Mm-hmm.
And then in the 1600s, 200 years before that, that was the Marauder minimum. And that was very, very cold. In fact, folks, that was the Dark Ages. So you can see what was happening there. And this cycle has been going on. There are other cycles that take place naturally. This is not the only one. But this is one is well documented. I have a chart here on the telestrator that shows you some of the, from about 1,000, so the last 1,000 years. And you can see how back in the 1900s it was way high, but now it's going down.
So for anybody who still wants to believe that the economy is that all you got to do is go to the grocery store and really look at the price of food. Of course, I like to, I buy really healthy food, and I realized, I spent $235 and I walked out with 3 grocery bags. But it was a lot of meat, and good quality oils and so forth, and those things run a little bit more. But this is saying, forecasting a 1 to 2 degrees Celsius drop. We're now headed into a Dalton minimum type of cooling. Yep. It may even be a Maunder minimum, a mini ice age, or a long-term solar minimum. That's very interesting information.
Well, another interesting thing is that this, the documents of the research show that this happens in just a few years. So this is not something that gradually will happen. In fact, you can see the extremes going on now. I mean, we've had one of the coldest starts already in history.
This is a great video. You should maybe think about putting that in
This is going into the next newsletter because there's a good video in there, but there are some really good charts that really show you this thing. And I encourage people to do research, because if this does happen, there's going to be food shortages in the United States. If the electric grid goes down because of something like this. Remember, 200 years ago, there was no electricity. Everybody was growing their own food. But now, just imagine a week without the grocery stores being replenished. What happens?
Yeah, and when you look at all these people that have these storable foods, a lot of them are grain-based. Maybe we need to start thinking about primal pemmican and things like that to store.
There are other ways of doing it. Give us a call, folks. 877-927-6648. Pick up some Primal Edge.
See you after the break.
Yeah.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418 8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with NADEX. NADEX, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, NADEX allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with NADEX in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. NADEX is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the NADEX banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
We're going to talk a little bit about the Health Signals newsletter. And the first thing that comes up is what you always talk about, Paige.
Mm-hmm. Powerful infographic there, breast cancer and burned oils. We've been telling you folks for years, stay away from those carcinogenic oils, and here you go. Thanks to Jeff from Qigong.com, my Qigong teacher. Reminding everyone of the dangerous carcinogens research shows is as a result of keep people eating these bad oils.
Yeah. Second thing is how to keep your gut healthy during the holidays. And it's this time of year that all your hard work is paying off. You've lost weight and blah, blah, blah. And now all of a sudden you're going to all these parties or you're going to places that you've got the layout there, all the food is out there, and some of it might not be good for you to eat.
Yeah, and if you subscribe to the newsletter, you're going to get the no foods to avoid, so you avoid that holiday weight gain. The flu vaccine exposed. Think twice. What's actually in a flu shot? You need to know this, folks.
You know, one of the things I put this in here for was at the very end, there's a video on how to opt out of forced vaccinations. I think people will find this very interesting.
And you know, that's amazing, Nico, because I have so many people say, well, what are you going to do, with your grandson when he has to go to school. I said, you're under the misinterpretation that you must. They want you to think that.
Right.
And I want to make a correction, by the way, not to interrupt, but I had a phone call from one of our listeners. They said, I was surprised to hear that your grandbaby is eating, meat and food, and he should be breastfed. And I said, absolutely, he's 100% breastfed.
No doubt about it.
He's 100% breastfed. My little daughter, Mama, she's doing a great job. She's still nursing him and plans to nurse him so that he gets the best start in life. I'm hoping she's going to stick to around age 2. But he is finally, at 11 months, starting to really have an appetite. He has had no grains.
Cool.
No grains and very limited starchy vegetables, but boy, does he like a sweet potato occasionally.
Sure.
But his favorite is meat, grass-fed beef.
Wow.
So we're enjoying it. But anyways.
So the next article is protein at breakfast reduces hunger and prevents overeating. This is just basic common sense.
And this has been vetted out with, I told you, Dr. Marshall in his newly released Biofield diet, which is what I'm doing with my clients, understanding that's really the electronics that's running our body. Found out that before 3 o'clock, we just really shouldn't have any sugars. We need to have the proteins and the fats.
No processed carbs at all, and I don't even eat any unprocessed carbs unless it's maybe a avocado that has a lot of fat.
But if you do accidentally eat a pancake, as Jeff says,
that's not the bad thing.
If you're going to do it after 3 o'clock.
That's right.
That's what we know.
So pancakes after 3, that's not bad. You can go to the IHOP.
Why French kids don't have ADHD.
Isn't this a very interesting article?
I think it's because they have lots of fat in their diet.
Yeah,
well, we'll have to find out. Got to get the newsletter to understand.
And I put this on page 7. I've got understanding hunter-gatherers. If we're really following the philosophy of the primal type diet, we have to understand what the basis of hunter-gatherers are today even, and what we have learned from that whole thing. And it's quite an
fascinating
article. And then we talked about last week the 10 habits of highly successful hunter-gatherers in the modern age, I would say, and that's in there too, and I think you'll find that very interesting. These are kind of long articles, and that's why it's a longer newsletter this time.
And, boy, that's a picture. Obesity may shorten your life expectancy up to 8 years. Folks, what we know is that it's a tremendous stress on your system, but do you understand that the fat cells produce cytokine storms, which are inflammatory compounds themselves? They're little factories. So the more we can reduce that body fat, the more we can reduce overall systemic...
Kind of like global warming going on in your body.
Exactly. So global inflammation.
Yeah,
so let's all work to get it down by increasing our healthy fats and healthy protein sources.
I have one recipe in here that's called lazy stuffed cabbage rolls, and they are delicious, so make those. And then I included in that section a whole bunch of research videos, which you'll find really interesting, how to make different bone broths.
Remember, I challenged all you guys to go check out that crock pot style tall.
Yeah, and there's one in here.
I call it bone broth. Oh, did you?
Yeah, I put the crock pot
link
in there.
Okay, good.
I put the links in there. And then Dr. Kelly Brogan has some really good videos on the healthy gut issues, from the gut to the brain and back again, what functional medicine does to your brain, how to heal your body with food, and it's just going on and on.
Again, such a resource-rich newsletter. Hope you guys are taking advantage of it. It's just such a gift. And again, Dr. Kelly Brogan, she's one of our favorite researchers. I think she's a medical advisor to Green Med Info.
Yes.
And she really does a lot with the body and the brain, and I think she's a great resource.
She's fantastic.
Hey, how about that? Got some nice yogic moves.
Yeah, this is a balancing stick yoga pose. It's it looks very easy. It looks gorgeous. It's very challenging. I recommend people doing it.
It's a standing plank, in effect.
Yeah, it is. And what is a foam roller and how to use it and why does it hurt? This is a whole section on how to use these foam rollers to trigger a release in your muscles, to get rid of soreness.
Release those trigger points and those little crystals of toxicity.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And at the end is an article about Tai Chi reduces the risk of falls in stroke survivors. It's really, this is one of the things that does that. Any type of exercise program, I would say, decent exercise program will do this type of thing. Qigong, yoga, Tai Chi, Jiu-Jitsu, just working out with free weights, going to a special place to in the park, perhaps, that has all these little different equipment that you can go on. Just being active itself is going to help you in this particular...
And we're so excited because right here in downtown Dunedin, where my office is, the Taoist Tai Chi Society worldwide bought...
construction, I think.
Yeah, they bought an old hotel. It's a beautiful structure that we were worried someone was going to get it and tear it down. But it's called the Fenway Hotel, and all the movie stars from the 20s and 30s, picture the Clarke Gables and people used to hang out at this hotel. And the Taoist Tai Chi Society has bought it, and they're going to turn it into a healing retreat. Yeah. So I feel like this is just going to be a boon for our area.
I can't wait to see what the timeline is and when this is actually going to be completed.
We'll have some updates.
A great project. I did on the last page include an article below the picture of Paige and myself that says the brain's fast mode. Especially this time of year, we do find our brain going crazy with all the different added tasks that's added on top of the busy life we already have, and how to slow that down, and to really, it's really an awareness of that this is going on, and that's really what the type of meditation actually is an awareness of how the brain works, watching your brain, and slowly it can slow down.
Well, Ali used to always say to quiet the monkey mind, and we do have to work on that, and I encourage all of us to try and take a chance to do that now that we're in the holidays. Just taking a few moments to deep breathe and breathe into your belly can just be super, super powerful for us.
Now, you sent me an interesting article about lemon peel heals joints.
I liked this because, I love remedies. I love using the energy of foods because remember, guys, healing is energy. And we have multiple sources of where we can get energy. We can get energy from foods. We can get it from live source, from plants, from essential oils, from flower essences.
From the sun.
From nature, from magnetism.
From just grounding yourself on the earth.
Very rarely is anything that's made by man have any healing value of any long-term consequence. It may cover up a symptom.
The residence of it, the ionic residence of the man-made products like the plastics and things like that, especially when they're confining food, really take away from the health of the food.
Oh, you absolutely have it. But this is really great. Now, most of you, if you're living a primal paleo lifestyle, you probably aren't having a lot of pain because when you remove the grains, processed sugars, carbs, the inflammatory foods, like nightshades, you've done this type of elimination work for yourself because you're into self-empowerment, then you're most likely not having so much. However, I like this recipe, and somehow or another I opened up the wrong article. Let me just open this up. Lemon peel recipe after which you will wake up without pain. So I encourage you guys maybe give it a try, and I like reusing things. We know that lemon is a superfood because of all the vitamins and nutrition that's in it, including the minerals, and it protects from many diseases and health conditions. We know of the vitamin C in it, guys, but really the bioflavonoids and the limonene oil. The oil of limonene is something that you've probably heard me talk about if you listen to the show. I suggest people buy oil of limonene and very, sparingly put a drop or so in their water to help them digest fat-soluble nutrition.
So let me read this because this is really interesting. Put rind of 2 lemons in a jar and fill that jar with olive oil. Close the jar and let it stand for 2 weeks. When the remedy is ready for usage, put some of the olive oil onto a clean gauze and place the gauze on the affected area. Put a plastic bag over the gauze and a wool scarf over the bag. You have to have a wool scarf, apparently. Do this procedure in the evening because the best way to heal joints is to let this coating act overnight.
So this is very much like a castor oil pack. So, I might be inclined to say I would probably maybe even experiment with this with a little drop of castor oil because castor oil is such a great penetrator. I have a little, so when I saw this, I saved it. I have a favorite oil that I have that's called root beer oil. It's got sassafras. Come by the office, I'll give you some.
Okay.
it's got sassafras in it, but it's actually got it's got MSM and DMSO, which helps penetrate. So I was going to modify this. I love making my little concoctions, but if you've got some pain, guys, give that a try and reuse those lemon rinds.
This is what good use for fruits.
Now, look at this picture, guys. I know that if you can see this up on the telestrator. Do you see this lemon? Okay, so it talked about using the rinds, and I want you to take a real close look at this picture. Do you see that when they peeled with their sharp paring knife, they left the white pith on the lemon? This is very important. You want to keep as much of the white pith on the lemon that you're going to eat. That is where we have some super phytochemicals, as my Qigong teacher Jeff Primack says. This is where the limonene essential oil is, in the rind and in the pith. Really more the limonene is in the rind, but there's some phytochemicals that we know are tremendous healers in the pith. So you remember the days when you were like, oh, get that white stuff off. We like to say, the white stuff is where the magic is. So when you do use your lemons and limes, this is a great idea. Peel. And the other thing you can do with lemon rinds after you've soaked them is put them down your disposal to be a natural deodorant.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Okay, so that's good.
Well, I have another thing that I want to talk about is endurance sports nutrition. This really applies to how the body is able to run on different fuels. And the controversy about that, because I was teaching a class on Wednesday, and I was asking one of the new white belts, where do you get your energy from in the food?
And they probably said carbs.
Yeah, carbs. So, I know you need carbs, and I said, well, what are the essential macronutrients? We have carbs, we have fat, and we have protein. What are the essential ones? He said, well, protein and fat are the ones we need. I says, and carbs are not so essential, so why would this be a fuel source? And he looked at me kind of puzzled. Well, it's not essential, but I need fuel. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So it's the right kind of fuel. So if fat is essential, it just makes sense just from that standpoint alone that fat would be the regular fuel that we use on a daily basis. And think about it, folks, is that your carb, the sugars are actually stored in and around the muscle. Whereas the fat is stored and going through your body in the blood. Your blood holds a lot of fat, and this is what we're burning most of the time if we're on a good diet. And to be on a carb diet is kind of like a suicide pact with your body, in a sense.
Because you flood the blood with sugar, of which the blood is not designed to handle floating sugar.
Right.
It creates, I like to think of people, think of that chalkboard, that, irritation. That's, that irritation, that's what's happening inside of your arteries because the sugar is oxidizing and so forth. But I like what this article says. I want everyone to start, because we're going to be talking a lot more about ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the energy currency of the cell, and ultimately whether it is a protein, a fat, or a carbohydrate, that is the fuel source of the cell. Now, true, we can get them from all of those food sources, but in reality, the carb is the least optimal one.
Yes.
And
it's kind of, I call it the emergency fuel. Because you can tap into it when your fat is fat is kind of a slow burn, and you can do a lot. And as your body gets in more condition, it's able to use that slow burn for a much longer period of time until it needs the sugar to turbocharge your movement. In other words, you have to get away from that lion, so you go into a sprint, or your wife is throwing something at you and you have to duck fast. I like that analogy. And something explosive that I do in jiu-jitsu, I need that fuel to be there. But just think, if I'm fighting for 15 minutes and I'm using my carbs and all of a sudden the carbs are gone, for me to switch into a slower fuel, does it make any sense? It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. And that's a really great point. So if you understand that what we really need to do is the mitochondrial energy, the ATP is what we want. And what's happened to a lot of our mitochondria, which are the energy sources of the cell, is they've been damaged. They've been damaged from free radicals. They've been damaged because they have been on, the membranes are damaged. You've heard us talk about the cell membrane. So yeah, maybe let's talk a little bit more about this.
Yes, I've got a little chart I want to show because that really hits it home. Folks,
I like this.
The number here is 877-927-6648. Take some time to get some Primal Edge. Best thing you can do for your body, your mind, and your spirit, and pick up a newsletter.
See you after the break.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has just announced a special sale for the Gold Report for a limited time only. To celebrate the 660th weekly issue of Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, that's more than 12 years, TFNN is having a special one-time sale. Right now, you can receive 60 weeks of the Gold Report. That's 14 months for only $600. We're offering Tom O'Brien's dynamic weekly newsletter at only $10 a week, half off the regular monthly price. By taking advantage of this special offer, you also get a signed copy of Tom O'Brien's best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, an $88 value. The Gold Report is published every Tuesday and provides subscribers with Tom O'Brien's expert commentary on the industry, as well as detailed information on a variety of mining equities. This offer is valid for current or new subscribers, but is only good through this week and ends this Sunday, December 21st. Lock in the low rate of only $10 a week for the Gold Report by placing your order at the front page of TFNN.com today. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Back, folks, and we have a caller on the line from Brooklyn and wants to talk about oil. It's Iman?
Yes, how you doing?
Hey, doing great. What can we do for you?
So I've been using some for a while, and I think, I think I've had success with it, and I like it. Emu oil. Do you guys have any opinion on that?
Yes, I love it for skin particularly. Are you using it to eat, or are you using it on the skin?
Well, I was using it on the skin for a skin issue on my face, but that seems to have gone away, and I think with the help of emu oil, but I actually use it internally now, and I don't even buy the capsules that this particular place sells. I just take the oil and I squirt some a couple of times a day in my mouth, and it works, it seems. So
It's a great source of fat.
Yeah, it's a great source of fat, and to be honest with you, I'm going to check into that. I have not actually taken emu oil internally, but again, when we start to, it really ideally matches the lipid layer in the skin. So I know as a beauty thing, I've been messing around with possibly a little private label line, and that's one of the secrets that I want to use because it matches the lipid membranes of the skin cells. So, but it's just, again, make sure you're getting your emu oil from a reputable supplier, and hopefully keep it in a dark place. The less light exposure, the better.
Exactly, yeah. And I did call the company. I asked them, can I take this internally? He said, it's the same oil that's in the capsule. So I said, okay, I'll just take this.
There you go.
No, I really like it, and I'm going to make a little note to do a little more research myself on the internal, because we are always looking for oils that, a couple years ago, nobody was eating coconut oil. Now the whole world is.
Yeah.
And and we do know that now that the fat scare is being dismissed, people are starting to look at these as a good energy source and a healing oil. So that's great that you're open to all of that.
Thanks for bringing that up. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a great holiday.
Yeah,
you too. Thanks for calling.
So we have this table here I got on the Telestrator, and this I really wanted to show you this estimated energy stores in humans. And this shows you carbohydrates, your blood glucose, 80 kcals, the liver glycogen, 400, muscle glycogen, 1,500. Then you go to the fat, and you can see how much more energy is available from fat, and even when you go down to the muscle protein, that can be converted to energy too, much more than the carbs.
And I like that adipose tissue, look at that 80,000 plus. So that tells you a lot that when we burn our own fat tissue, we create a tremendous amount of energy. The key is, how do we get ourselves to unlock that wonderful resource of usable energy out of our fat? When what's happened to us is we're locked out of accessing that. And I am very excited to say that I think I've come up with some ideas of how to really help make sure people can do that. We'll talk about it in the new year.
And the primal style diet that we advocate is the perfect way to get into this fat burning zone where you're not hungry, you're very satisfied with what's going on. You can eat once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect you emotionally. And that's a big thing. Like our caller from Brooklyn just discovered another oil, another fat, and it's always these oils and fats. When you discover how to use them properly, you go, wow, this is really cool, and it's available, and it's clean, and it's probably not that expensive when you use it the way you're supposed to use it. It's a beautiful thing. So I really recommend people really doing some research on your own and finding why fat is the thing that we need, but it has to be the type of fat that we're talking about. Healthy fat from animals, from fruits and things like that are good. From vegetables and from grains, certainly not. And if it's in your grocery store in that middle aisle.
And none of that grocery store trans fat. We saw those damaged fats that from cooking, but they're damaged even already in the bottle.
Okay, Paige is gone, but we have a special guest, co-host coming in. Jasmine is coming in from
our Bradenton Paleo. So it's going to be a great show, guys. I'm going to miss you. Have a happy holiday, and I'll see you in the new year.
Right after Christmas.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.